Hello race fans and welcome to Budapest, here at the Hungaroring for the 2022 Hungarian Grand Prix qualifying session here on Saturday. This is the last qualifying session we'll have before the summer break rolls around, so let's see if we can just go out with a bang before the summer break. And here's your practice report for the Hungarian Grand Prix, and Yuki Tsunoda pips his teammate again, so Tsunoda seems to have the pace in practice, but Watanabe always seems to struggle behind. But this time it looks as though the Toyota car is not well suited to the characteristics of the Hungaroring. Tsunoda once again beats his teammate in practice too, this time both being on the soft compound tire, so there is an inherent pace advantage for Tsunoda. And heading into practice 3, Tsunoda pips his teammate 9th while Watanabe's down in 14th. So a lot of work for the Toyota crew heading into this qualifying session to see if they can unlock some pace in the setup. And speaking of the setup, a high downforce setup typically for the Hungaroring, for the tight section in Sector 1. However, the medium speed corners in the third sector tend to be more flat out nowadays. Heading towards upgrades, Toyota brings a rear downforce upgrade and an MGU-K reliability upgrade, which puts them 5th in the pecking order ahead of Ferrari. And here goes Watanabe into the final corner. Turn 14 is a very short lap here around the Hungaroring as he brings it tight out of the corner, heading towards the line, but it's only good for P3. Purple first sector for Watanabe, but he's being impeded by Russell in the slower Williams, and so thankfully he makes it across the line just in time for another lap, but he will be very mad that he didn't get that lap in. Better lap for Watanabe, 4/10ths up, a little wide to the final corner, but he makes it across the line. What's it going to be? And it's P12, Yuki Tsunoda down in P14, so the Toyota very close in qualifying, but it looks as though it's just the car itself with that unstable rear end that is failing itself in this qualifying session. Final corner for Kato Watanabe now, closing in a little wide through turn 14, rides a bit of exit curve, gets the DRS wide open, crosses the line, and 9/10ths down in P3. 3/10ths up, losing time, goes wide through turn 14 again. He's done that in his first lap, crosses the line. Is that going to be enough? No, it's only good for P11, just ahead of his teammate. And Watanabe's riding those curbs. He's not making up time though. He's in fact going slower as he goes through, and always loses it. And he drags the nose into the wall. He's great, thankfully, he doesn't shear off a tire. But with the front wing off and with qualifying over, this has surely put a damper in it. And yes, Watanabe just misses making it into Q3. Yuki Tsunoda 2/10ths behind him, so the Toyota just not suited for the top 10 on this track. But he'll be in strategic pole position and be able to start in the mediums and heading to the race. Welcome race fans to the Hungaroring, the Hungarian Grand Prix, a race that has delivered tons of historic moments throughout this year, and of course, Hungary and its scorching track temperatures will be the final race we have before the summer break. Can we go out with a bang? Can it live up to the expectations of this entire season? Let's see, heading into this race. And here we go, around the Hungaroring, a tight circuit, often called Monaco, without the barriers. So the drivers will find it very difficult to overtake, but the best chances will be at turn 1 at the end of the long DRS zone. And hopefully down the long DRS straight, no one pulled what Michael Schumacher did back in 2010, where he squeezed someone almost into the pit wall. And here we go into the starting of the race. And Valtteri Bottas has been riding a high since the French Grand Prix with 2 wins and a P2 to his name. But can Lewis Hamilton, can Max Verstappen summon some momentum and some force to bring some energy back to their title fight? We'll see heading into the weekend. And here we go to the starting grid for the 2022 Hungarian Grand Prix. Let's see what we can have in store. Valtteri Bottas takes pole position over Max Verstappen, P2. We had an amazing fight for the lead between these two drivers in England. Can we see it again? Lewis Hamilton 3rd, Norris 4th, Daniel Ricciardo 5th, and Sergio Perez down in P6. Charles Leclerc 7th, Sainz 8th, Vettel 9th, and Gasly in 10th. The closest we've seen the Toyota pair with Watanabe 11th and Tsunoda 12th, Stroll 13th, and Fernando Alonso down in 14th place with Esteban Ocon 15th and Antonio Giovinazzi 16th, Mick Schumacher 17th, George Russell in 18th, Kimi Räikkönen 19th, and Marino Sato down in 20th, with Nicholas Latifi in 21st, and Nikita Mazepin 22nd in the Haas. Here we go, the cars are set to go around the scorching heat of the Hungaroring. Let's see what this race has in store. 5 red lights. Can Bottas get off the line well? Can Verstappen challenge him to turn 1? Well, we'll have to wait and see. His lights out, and away they go. It's a good start for both the front row runners. A good start for McLaren's behind as they go off the line. And Kato Watanabe has been bogged down in the phase, but Yuki Tsunoda is off to a flying start. Heading down into turn 1. It's 3 wide up ahead between one of the Mercedes, the McLaren, and a Red Bull. And Watanabe has to squeeze his teammate out as he tries to go up on the inside. Watanabe holds the position, but they haven't made any spots, failing to get some grip in those medium compound tires. And Tsunoda again attacks him down into into turn 2. This is a beautiful, scintillating battle between the teammates. Tsunoda trying to ensure his seat out of the mid-season portion of the season, but Tsunoda's all over the back end of his teammate. Watanabe's having to put up a huge defense. This was hopefully the pace that Watanabe was hoping Tsunoda would have at the beginning of the season, but he holds him off, and Tsunoda, being so close, compromised the position to Stroll. Let's look at this race start. You can see Tsunoda off the line. Watanabe just ahead of him. You can see the difference. Tsunoda in the second phase of the start just manages to get that much more traction, that much more acceleration, and Watanabe on the outside has to be very cautious because all the cars slow down, and Tsunoda just sees a gap and he just goes up the inside, but the inside line does compromise him as Watanabe is just able to get on the power that little bit earlier. But here we go, Tsunoda again down the inside, but here, turn 2, the curb is very, very high, so you can definitely unsettle the car. Here you see Watanabe just going wide out of turn 4, but now Tsunoda goes to the outside and he leaves the gap open for Lance Stroll, and see all that fighting, all that defense, definitely put some heat and weight on the tires, definitely losing some grip. And this is a thrilling battle between Tsunoda and Stroll, and Tsunoda just manages to keep the position over the Aston Martin. Great racing. Lap 4 now, and Watanabe's extended the gap to his teammate, but he's not really catching up with the pure gas. He loses it on the exit curb of turn 3. That definitely managing to catch the car with quick reflex, but Tsunoda is now closing the gap extremely quickly. And Daniel Ricciardo pits. So is the McLaren driver going for an audacious 2-stop strategy? Watanabe gets the position over Daniel Ricciardo. And now all the soft tire runners are pitting, and they're all going to hard compound tires, so they're trying to turn this into a one-stop race. So can Daniel Ricciardo make up the positions he's going to lose with his second stop? But Watanabe makes it up to 6th place. All the rest of the soft tire runners in the top 10 are in. So now Keita Watanabe, with the grip and the pace and the medium tires, is going to have to really transfer and use this form as his Watanabe and Tsunoda. Still a Toyota 1-2, but Tsunoda pits on this lap for his first set, for his one and only stop. Valtteri Bottas makes it up into P2. Now Watanabe is really going to have to extend the gap in order to get back into a good gap. And here goes Watanabe into the pits. Very, very boring race, but just managing the tires, making sure that he gets the optimum grip through these corners. We saw how much the Toyota was struggling, especially in the third sector, with those medium speed corners that are now, with the downforce of these modern cars, are able to be taken almost at full throttle. So can Watanabe get a good pit stop here from his team? He puts on the hard compound tires, and it's a slow stop from the Toyota pit crew. And Watanabe's falling down the order as all the drivers who previously pitted are making their way down the pit straight. Here goes Watanabe rejoining the track. He's going to join ahead of Sergio Perez in the Red Bull, but he's going to have to make up a lot of ground. But he's going to have fresher tires than the other drivers in the later stages of the race. And Watanabe is closing in on Carlos Sainz. DRS wide open, ERS deployed. Daniel Ricciardo pits for his second pit stop for another set of medium tires. And Watanabe out of turn 14. He's been so good ever since he put on these tires in the second stint. Here he goes, closing in on the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz. He's going to pull out, go down the inside into turn 1. This is the best spot on the track for overtaking. And Watanabe just has the grip, gets on the power that much earlier, opens the DRS for the second sector and makes it by the Ferrari with ease. And now he closes in with audacious pace on Vettel. Can he make a move into turn 2? No, a little audacious from the Toyota driver. Closing in on Sebastian Vettel again. Out of the final turn, opening DRS, deploying tons of battery down the straight, and Vettel's got no defense without the DRS. He's going to have to make himself a mobile chicane, but he can't stop the overspeed of Toyota, diving down the inside. A carbon copy move of the move he made on Sainz, gets on the power, open the DRS, and there he goes, making the gap. Vettel was in a faster car though, but Watanabe closes the door, heading into turn 2, and now he can close in on Charles Leclerc, and perhaps maybe onto the podium. And now Watanabe closing in on Charles Leclerc. He's about 6/10. So if he can keep this gap, he's going to be able to make up and down the DRS straight as he goes. And Schumacher closes the door. And the blue flag back marker has impeded Watanabe through the corners to ride a lot of curb through that chicane. And now that 6/10 gap is extended to almost 2 seconds. That's incredibly frustrating for the Japanese driver. Here's the replay. You can see Schumacher, he gets out of the way for Charles Leclerc, and there must have been a miscommunication of the team. He doesn't realize that Keita Watanabe is so close behind, and so he just takes the chicane as he would normally take it, trying to make it back onto the racing line, as you can see. And Watanabe, like quick reflexes, but that being said, a bit of a rattling is going to receive, because that curb at on the outside heading into the chicane is of turn 6 and 7 is very, very steep, along with that exit curb at the end of the chicane. So a lot of high curbs, a lot of rattling for the Toyota driver, who's not going to be happy with the Haas, who possibly, with only 4 laps remaining in this race, has impeded his progress.
I got confused with the...
And Sebastian Vettel doing so good. That's smoke from the engine. That's smoke from the engine. He's going to slow down the straight. He goes, oh, and Carlos Sainz at the back of it. So does Sergio Perez. It is a humongous high-profile crash. Carbon fiber flying everywhere. And Sebastian Vettel's pulling off to the side. And that is a humongous incident for two drivers. Look at this replay. Through the third sector we go. And there goes the engine. Just goes pop. And Vettel just... Why is he going back on the racing line? Carlos Sainz wasn't able to really stop in time. And Vettel, that's a weird move. Maybe he was trying to pull over to the side there. There is an exit on that side.
What a mess.
What a mess indeed. Look at here, Carlos Sainz. He doesn't expect Vettel to pull over to the side, and that just causes them to crash into the back of the Aston Martin and creates a Constantina effect with Perez. And yeah, there's nothing Carlos Sainz could have done there.
So unlucky, screw.
Let's see what happened to Sergio Perez, though. As you can see, he's closing in. They're very close together, which makes their crash even... Oh, you can see the smoke screen from the Aston Martin.
Sick. Unbelievable.
There was no way he was going to be able to see that crash with that much smoke. No safety car, surprisingly. So a bit of controversy heading into the summer break. Something the FIA will have to look at heading into the future after such a high-profile incident. And two damaged cars on the side of the track with Valtteri Bottas will carry the momentum into the summer break with a win at the Hungaroring. That's 3 wins in the last 4 races, reigniting his title hopes. And Watanabe, down in P5, will be deeply frustrated with the fact that a podium was very likely on the cards with the pace he showed on those hard compound tires in the second stint. And while he gets driver today from the fans, that's going to do little to console him from a potential podium. But in the end, Valtteri Bottas, the Finn, begins to take flight again as he manages to reignite a title charge after an unlucky first part of the season. Yuki Tsunoda propels himself into the points, so a good ending for the Japanese driver there too, hoping to carry some of this momentum heading into the second half of the season. Nothing changes in the driver championship though, but 3 points Valtteri Bottas lingers behind Max Verstappen. So the defending champion can very well have a back-to-back championship season if he can just manage this form. But with Lewis Hamilton, never count him out of the fight. And heading into the summer break, Mercedes goes with a 70-point lead and basically seizes the Constructors' Championship from Red Bull, who have to have a mighty fight against this team. Valtteri Bottas seizes the winner's trophy as we head into the summer break. We've had a scintillating first half to this 2022 season, but can we carry the momentum on? We'll see you in a few weeks' time at Spa-Francorchamps for the Belgian Grand Prix. But until then, enjoy the summer break, and that's it from us. Goodbye.